Now it goes this way. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. Adam started to speak, and Samuel looked up at him, and he was silent, and covered his eyes with his hand. Samuel read, And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in the process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock, and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering, but unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. Lee said, Now there. No, go on. We'll come back. Samuel read, And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And the Lord said unto Cain, Why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. And Cain talked with Abel his brother. And it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother, and slew him. And the Lord said unto Cain, Where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground, and now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. And Cain said unto the Lord, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass, that every one that findeth me shall slay me. And the Lord said unto him, Therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord, and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden. Samuel closed the loose cover of the book almost with weariness. There it is, he said. 16 verses, no more. And oh, Lord, I had forgotten how dreadful it is. No single tone of encouragement. Maybe Liza's right. There's nothing to understand. Adam sighed deeply. It's not a comforting story, is it? Lee poured a tumbler full of dark liquor from his round stone bottle and sipped it and opened his mouth to get the double taste on the back of his tongue. No story has power, nor will it last, unless we feel in ourselves that it is true and true of us. What a great burden of guilt men have. Samuel said to Adam, And you have tried to take it all? Lee said, So do I. So does everyone. We gather our arms full of guilt as though it were precious stuff. It must be that we want it that way. Adam broke in. It makes me feel better, not worse. How do you mean? Samuel asked. Well, every little boy thinks he invented sin. Virtue we think we learn because we are told about it, but sin is our own designing. Yes, I see. But how does this story make it better? Because, Adam said excitedly, we are descended from this. This is our father. Some of our guilt is absorbed in our ancestry. What chance did we have? We are the children of our father. It means we aren't the first. It's an excuse, and there aren't enough excuses in the world. Not convincing ones anyway, said Lee. Else we would long ago have wiped out guilt, and the world would not be filled with sad, punished people. Samuel said, But do you think of another frame to this picture? Excuse or not, we are snapped back to our ancestry. We have guilt. Adam said, I remember being a little outraged at God. Both Cain and Abel gave what they had, and God accepted Abel and rejected Cain. I never thought that was a just thing. I never understood it. Do you? Maybe we think out of a different background, said Lee. I remember that this story was written by and for a shepherd people. They were not farmers. Wouldn't the God of shepherds find a fat lamb more valuable than a sheaf of barley? A sacrifice must be the best and most valuable. Yes, I can see that, said Samuel. And Lee, let me caution you about bringing your Oriental reasoning to Liza's attention. Adam was excited. Yes, but why did God condemn Cain? That's an injustice. Samuel said, There's an advantage to listening to the words. God did not condemn Cain at all. Even God can have a preference, can't he? Let's suppose God liked lamb better than vegetables. I think I do myself. Cain brought him a bunch of carrots, maybe. And God said, I don't like this, try again. Bring me something I like, and I'll set you up alongside your brother. But Cain got mad. His feelings were hurt. And when a man's feelings are hurt, he wants to strike at something, and Abel was in the way of his anger. Lee said, St. Paul says to the Hebrews that Abel had faith. There's no reference to it in Genesis, Samuel said. No faith or lack of faith, only a hint of Cain's temper. Lee asked, How does Mrs. Hamilton feel about the paradoxes of the Bible? Why, she does not feel anything because she does not admit they are there. But, hush, man. Ask her, and you'll come out of it older, but not less confused. Adam said, You two have studied this. I only got it through my skin, and not much of it stuck. Then Cain was driven out for murder? That's right, for murder. And God branded him? Did you listen? Cain bore the mark not to destroy him, but to save him. And there's a curse called down on any man who shall kill him. It was a preserving mark. Adam said, I can't get over a feeling that Cain got the dirty end of the stick. Maybe he did, said Samuel. But Cain lived and had children, and Abel lives only in the story. We are Cain's children. And isn't it strange that 3 grown men, here in a century, so many thousands of years away, discussed this crime as though it happened in King City yesterday and hadn't come up for trial? One of the twins awakened and yawned and looked at Lee and went to sleep again. Lee said, Remember, Mr. Hamilton, I told you I was trying to translate some old Chinese poetry into English? No, don't worry. I won't read it. Doing it, I found some of the old things as fresh and clear as this morning, and I wondered why. And of course, people are interested only in themselves. If a story is not about the hearer, he will not listen. And I here make a rule. A great and lasting story is about everyone, or it will not last. The strange and foreign is not interesting, only the deeply personal and familiar. Samuel said, Apply that to the Cain and Abel story. And Adam said, I didn't kill my brother. Suddenly he stopped, and his mind went reeling back in time. I think I can, Lee answered Samuel. I think this is the best-known story in the world because it is everybody's story. I think it is the simple story of the human soul. I'm feeling my way now. Don't jump on me if I'm not clear. The greatest terror a child can have is that he is not loved, and rejection is the hell he fears. I think everyone in the world to a large or small extent has felt rejection, and with rejection comes anger, and with anger some kind of crime in revenge for the rejection, and with the crime, guilt. And there is the story of mankind. I think that if rejection could be amputated, the human would not be what he is. Maybe there would be fewer crazy people. I am sure in myself there would not be many jails. It is all there, the start, the beginning. One child, refused the love he craves, kicks the cat and hides his secret guilt, and another steals so that money will make him loved, and a third conquers the world, and always the guilt and revenge, and more guilt. The human is the only guilty animal. Now wait. Therefore I think this old and terrible story is important because it is a chart of the soul, the secret, rejected, guilty soul. Mr. Trask, you said you did not kill your brother, and then you remembered something. I don't want to know what it is, but was it very far apart from Cain and Abel? And what do you think of my Oriental patter, Mr. Hamilton? You know I am no more Oriental than you are. Samuel had leaned his elbows on the table, and his hands covered his eyes and his forehead. I want to think, he said. Damn you, I want to think. I'll want to take this off alone where I can pick it apart and see. Maybe you've tumbled a world for me, and I don't know what I can build in my world's place. Lee said softly, Couldn't a world be built around accepted truth? Couldn't some pains and insanities be rooted out if the causes were known? I don't know, damn you. You've disturbed my pretty universe. You've taken a contentious game and made an answer of it. Let me alone, let me think. Your damned bitch is having pups in my brain already. Oh, I wonder what my Tom will think of this. He'll cradle it in the palm of his mind. He'll turn it slow in his brain like a roast of pork before the fire. Adam, come out now. You've been long enough in whatever memory it was. Adam started. He sighed deeply. Isn't it too simple? He asked. I'm always afraid of simple things. It isn't simple at all, said Lee. It's desperately complicated, but at the end there's light." "There's not going to be light long," Samuel said. "We've sat and let the evening come,